Hey guys, welcome back to another video of me sharing way too many of my opinions. So today we are going to be tier ranking some of the most popular YA books I've read. So to determine which books were popular, I basically chose the books with the most amount of ratings on Goodreads from the ones I've read. And yeah, I've seen a ton of these tier ranking videos on YouTube. They seem so fun. So I thought, why not add my own spin to it and why not rate some books for you? So yeah, I have a ton of unpopular opinions. I did not like many of these popular books as much as some other people did. So be prepared. It's gonna be fun. Yeah, no hate. If you did like these books, I totally respect that. I just didn't. And I hope we can get a good laugh out of it, no matter what your opinions are. So let's get started. Hey guys, so yeah, I have my screen over here with all my tier rankings and some pictures of the books I'll be ranking for you. So yeah, first one up is The Hunger Games. Super popular YA book. Literally everybody knows about it, but I thought it was pretty mediocre. I mean, when I first read it, I literally thought it was the best thing I've ever read. Like, I cried at the end when Peeta was like, "Do you love me, real or not real?" I was like full on in tears, sobbing at the thought of that beautiful quote. And I literally reread that page every single day, like until I had to return the library book. And it had my heart basically. But now, like, I reread it, what, like a year ago or something? And it was just like, okay. Honestly, I feel like the characters were just so mediocre. Katniss honestly bothered me so much. She was just kind of annoying. Everything just kind of went downhill from the first one, and I feel like I only really liked it because I had nothing to compare it to. Like, I didn't read YA before that. That was like my introduction into the YA genre, and I guess my standards were lower. I mean, I'm a pretty critical reader, so oops. The Hunger Games gets a C for me. Mediocre book. If we went back years ago, it would have probably been closer to an S, but we are not, and we are right here in 2020, and I am tier ranking right for you in my home because I'm bored during quarantine. So yeah, second book up is Shadow and Bone. Yeah, I read this one pretty early on in my YA experiences. So yeah, the plot was interesting enough. I really liked all the events that were happening. I love the idea of the Grisha and all those types of magic and the magic system. The map's also super pretty, by the way, if you want to take a look at that. But some of the characters were just kind of lame. Like, Alina kind of annoyed me. She was just kind of boring. Mal was literally so boring. He was so bland. I needed more spice to him. Like, where? And also, I love the Darkling. You don't even know how much I love the Darkling. He's my favorite YA villain of all time. Probably increased my rating of this series by a full star because I am obsessed with him. So yeah, I love him. Not so much the other characters. So I am gonna put this one on a B tier. I wouldn't be crazy about rereading it, you know? Like, I feel like it was a good read. I don't regret it, but I don't feel any motivation to read it again in the future. So yeah, next book up is The Cruel Prince. This one's like such a you hate it or you love it book. I have like friends that literally despised it, but I actually really liked it. I think it's a great book. I fell in love with everything, Carden, the hate to love romance when I first read it. But honestly, when I think back on it, the romance was a little problematic for my tastes. Like, in hate to love, it's usually like the girl breaks through the guy's hard exterior shell and they're like super kind to each other. It's like a fairy tale romance after that. But this one, they actually hate each other. I am convinced that even though they're like in their perfect romantic relationship, or not perfect, they literally despise each other. Carden's kind of mean, low-key. He's a little bit of a bully. And I don't really understand why there was romance between them in the first place. But other than that, it was enjoyable. I love the court politics. I was like, so good. I love politics in my books. I absolutely love the fairy settings. I am addicted to fae and fae books. Like, all my favorite books have fae in them. And there are a ton of plot twists in the book, so Plot twists are always good. I find that so many books are predictable nowadays, and I like having some nice plot twists to keep me intrigued throughout the book. So this one gets an A tier for me. Let's go and resize this. So yeah, next up is The Raven Cycle. I mean, I don't really remember too much of this book, honestly. I read it years ago, but I have good vibes from this. Like, I remember really liking this book. I loved all the characters. I loved the concept of the book, and overall it was pretty solid. So I am going to give this an S tier, because I feel like these good vibes must mean that, like, it was good enough for me to kind of still remember about it. So I am going to keep this on the S tier. First book up here, big honor. And the covers are also super pretty too. Bonus. And next up we have Shatter Me. So Shatter Me, it's weird. It's like a weird situation for me. I absolutely loved the first 3 books. As in, they're literally my favorite books of all time. Ignite Me, like 5 stars all the way. I will literally reread like Ignite Me or Unravel Me, like just those 2 books, not the entire series. And I love the relationship between Juliet and Mourner, and those are classic hate to love relationship that I am obsessed with. So yeah, but the series kind of got progressively worse. I mean, I honestly feel like it just should have stopped at the original trilogy. Like, no more. I don't want any more books after the original trilogy, but there just had to be more, and I feel like there wasn't really like that much plot. It just so wasn't necessary, you know? And there was just got worse and worse as the series progressed. Sorry, fans. Like, I read Imagine Me this year because I just wanted to finish the series. Like, I absolutely loved the first 3 books. A little bit hesitant on the 4th. 5th got a little bit worse. So I was like, maybe there will be an amazing comeback. I will fall in love with Imagine Me and it will recover the series forever. But it didn't. I didn't really like it at all. Probably my least favorite book, actually, continuing that downwards trend from Ignite Me. And there wasn't really much of a plot in Imagine Me. I feel like it could have easily been condensed so much. There was a ton of filler, I felt like, and honestly, it was just so unnecessary, and I'm really sad because Shatter Me was so good, Unravel Me was so good, and Ignite Me was so good, but the rest just fell flat for me. So yeah, if we're pretending that the last 3 books aren't existent, then this book would be an S tier, but no, it isn't. So with the 3 books, I'm gonna give this a B tier, right next to Shadow and Bone. Yeah. Ooh, this is an interesting one next. Okay, Shiver. I have so many unpopular opinions on this one. I hated Shiver. It's honestly like an F tier. It was a horrible read for me. Don't come at me, Shiver fans. Let's keep the respect here. But I did not like Shiver. I just didn't get the series. I honestly hate when characters fall in love with like non-human characters or humans that like transform into animals, which is why I haven't read Twilight yet. I know, big surprise, but it's just the concept is so weird to me. Like, in this book, the main character falls in love with a wolf. Like, isn't that so weird? That's like if I fell in love with a rat, like in the sewers of like New York City, because it turned into a human every few days and I felt like a special connection with it. Like, isn't that weird? Hey, look, it's Times Square. Its eyes. I think it's looking at me. Is it my soulmate? Hey, where are you looking at? Ew, rat! Run away! That was my soulmate. He was gonna turn into a human at full moon. You need mental help. I can't be the only one that thinks that. So yeah, that mentally bothered me. I didn't really enjoy reading about her falling in love with this wolf. And also the characters were pretty dull too. And also, I didn't like the plot or the prose too much, so F tier it is. I mean, it gets the honor of being the first one. Not the first one to a good tier, but the first one nevertheless. So we're just gonna resize that, put it right there. Move on to our next book of Divergent. So yeah, I am not the biggest fan of Divergent. I didn't like it even on my first read. I read it a while back, years ago, and I just never really saw the appeal. Triss was so annoying. Oh my gosh, I just did not like her at all. She was kind of obnoxious as a main character for me. I was just not a fan of anyone else either. I didn't really like the romance. The actual concept was interesting, but I feel like it didn't really carry through. I don't even know how to explain it, but not a fan, so not a fan, but not as bad as Shiver, so I am going to put it on the D tier. One step up. I am just too kind today with these ratings. Oh, City of Bones. Okay, so this is complicated. I know there's like a ton of drama with Cassandra Clare, but just from her books, the characters were so annoying. I hated Jason Clary. Yeah, unpopular opinion, I know. But it just felt like it dragged on, especially in the 4th and 5th books of that series. And I just was not a fan of it. But I absolutely love her other series, like The Dark Artifices, The Infernal Devices, Chain of Gold, if that's a series. I know I'm forgetting some. But yeah, all those series were honestly amazing. I fell in love with each and every one of them, just not City of Bones. So if we're rating the entire franchise, I would probably give it like an A tier, but since we're rating City of Bones, I would put it on the C tier, right next to the Hunger Games. Yeah, I mean, Chain of Gold was literally so good. I am so excited for the next book to that, Chain of Iron, and I cannot wait for that. Next up, we have Throne of Glass. Okay, this is weird, but I didn't like the first book. It was just like mediocre for me, but it got a lot better as the series progressed, like a lot better. Especially starting from Heir of Fire, it started improving a lot for me. I liked when all the other characters were introduced. Kale's obviously my favorite, like look at him. And yeah, so I would give the series a B tier. I, of course, love Faye, so seeing Faye in this bumped it up a tier. I mean, just kidding, but that was a big bonus in the book for me. I would say more, but I feel like I don't want to spoil anything for you, but just trust me, it gets a lot better. The plot improves a lot. I love the introduction of the characters in the future. Overall, it's a strong series. I know there's a ton of people saying out here that you should skip Tower of Dawn before going to Kingdom of Ash. I actually disagree with that. I know, for those of you who don't really know, Tower of Dawn, it's the 6th book right before Kingdom of Ash, and it's kind of unrelated to the main story arc. So the main story arc focuses on Celiana, but this book focuses more on Kale, and he has like a separate story arc that Tower of Dawn focuses on, and I actually really liked having that break from the main story arc because I thought it was interesting to learn more about him. I'm not like an expert on the book, so I don't really know if there's anything like important that you would have missed on, but I mean, it was published in that order for a reason, so I just suggest going ahead and reading it in the original order. Unless you're too impatient to see what happens, then skip Tower of Dawn, but it's a very good book. I love Kale, and you should read it in the original order, like I did. So yeah, B tier, there we go. Next up, we have Legend. I love Legend. It is such an underrated book. I feel like there just aren't many people talking about it, especially on Bookstagram. If any of you are on it, like the book community on Instagram. But it's like really good. I love all of Marie Lu's writing, and this one like hit different. I fell in love with Day and June. They're my one of my favorite couples. I just love them so much. I usually don't really read dystopian, if that's what this classifies as. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I did not look this up. So yeah, I usually don't really read these types of books, but this one was really good. As alternating perspectives, which I love, and it was also one of the first books that I've read, and it did not disappoint. It was a very strong book. So I am putting this on the S tier, right next to my picture of Raven Boys. There we go. Okay, so 2 more books left. We're almost done. And next up we have A Quart of Thorns and Roses. Okay, I loved this series. Honestly, I kind of love it in that comfort read way. Like, it's not necessarily the best written book I've ever read, but it's such a comfort read. It's really enjoyable, kind of a guilty pleasure in a way. But honestly, some people would kind of consider this new adult, so just be warned if you're reading this. But it's a really good book. It peaks at A Court of Mist and Fury. Like, if you look at all the Goodreads ratings for this, it's like above like a 4.25, which is really high. Yeah, and honestly, the first book was pretty mediocre. Like, I'd probably give it like a 4-star or something, but the second, third books are probably 5 stars, and forever it will be one of my favorite series. You should totally read it if you haven't already, or at least give it a try. See how it is, tell me about it, tell me about your experiences, and yeah, so S tier, here we go. Next up, we have 6 of Crows. So yeah, I always recommend 6 of Crows to anybody who wants to start reading the YA fantasy genre, or just anyone who hasn't read it already, because it's such a solid book. It's a duology, so not a super long series, unlike Throne of Glass, 7 books. So it's not a big commitment. It's a really good book. It kind of goes along with the Grisha trilogy, Shadow and Bone, so I'd recommend reading them both, especially if you want to read King of Scars, but I'm not going to talk about that. Too much lore, Grisha lore. But I love the cast of characters. It's kind of a found family. There's a heist. Super good book. So yeah, I absolutely love Kaz in this, one of my favorite morally gray characters, and his relationship with Inej. I don't know how to pronounce any of these characters, I'm so sorry. But yeah, I love both of them. I love the main cast. I love Matthias. Deserved a better ending. And overall, I love this book so much. It will forever be in my heart, along with ACOTAR, Legend, and the Raven Boys. Cruel Prince is in there too, and the first 3 books of Shatter Me, all in my heart forever. So here are my final tier rankings. I was honestly going to do more books, but I realized how long this video is taking. I'm up to 20 minutes over here. Well, obviously I'm going to cut it down, but I don't want you guys to watch an hour-long recording of me rating books. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I had a super fun time making it. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to receive notifications of my new videos. I'm super happy to be starting a booktube channel. It's been super fun. I am actually using it to distract myself from all the other work I need to get done, so keep the distractions coming. I'll be uploading new content whenever I feel like it, because I'm horrible at having an upload schedule. So thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day.